What's up, everyone? Welcome to the January 12th edition of the NBA Bet Pro video. I'm your host, Adam Scherer. You can follow me on Twitter at ShipMyMoneyDFS. We have a 6-game NBA slate tonight. As we have the last couple of days, we're going to look at some of the best prop bets using our new NBA Bet Pro tool. For anyone not familiar or that needs a quick refresher, this is the new betting tool that we have available on the Stokastic website and on the OddsShopper website. It is powered by the same people that do our DFS projections, same models that do our DFS projections. And it is a quick way for you to be able to see what the best bets, the best player prop bets are across multiple sites. So if you're someone that has a bankroll on a variety of sites and you're just looking for the best bets that you can get, we have this best bets tab right here. And that's just going to show you what we have projected as the best wagers for you to make across the industry. Here, for example, it's Kyrie Irving over 3.5 3-pointers on FanDuel at plus 140. But if you are someone that just likes to bet on one or two sites, you also can just choose the site that you want to bet on. You'll be able to see the top bets available there as well. And then we also have multiple statistics for you to look at that should give you an idea of what to expect from each wager. You have the win percentage, which is simply telling you how often you should expect to win that bet. The expected value is your expected ROI on that individual wager. And then the two that I think are the most interesting, S-bet percentage tells you the recommended wager percentage of your bankroll. So that's going to factor in things like the expected ROI, but also the expected win percentage. And SEV, which gives you an idea of how much you should expect your bankroll to grow by if you bet the recommended amount on that wager. So that's slightly different than, or not slightly, that is different than the ROI of the individual wager. That's telling you how much you can expect your bankroll to grow. We also have the injury information here. We have, different color-coded highlights for players when their teammates are questionable. For example, Thomas Bryant here, you have players on the Lakers that are questionable. So you probably wouldn't want to bet, for example, the under on his rebounds until we know for sure who's playing for the Lakers, because if you were to get guys ruled out, then the under probably isn't going to be a good bet anymore. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Just makes it a little bit easier when you look at the tool to get an idea of where you really want to be placing your bets. So as a reminder also, or for the first time, if you haven't watched these videos before, we are offering a 7-day free trial on this tool. Just sign up, take advantage for 7 days. You can play around with it, see how it helps you figure out exactly.
Exactly. What's happening, Stokastic basketball fans? Welcome to the No House Advantage NBA strategy show for Thursday. I think it's the 12th. It is right on the dot at 3:30. We're just hitting them out of the park today, hitting the ground running with my pal Gundacker here. We're going to talk about the entire slate for the No House Advantage strategy for the strategy show. We're going to talk about the entire slate for No House Advantage tonight on this strategy show. We're going to go through the picks for the against the field contests like we normally do. We'll take a look at some of the really high probability ones. We'll try and find a few that we like from the mid-range, and we'll see if we can put a good card together. But first, Gun, what's going on, buddy? How you doing?
You're pretty good. My weather can't decide if it wants to be hot or cold, so I went to sleep with the air on. Last 2 days has been the 80s. I guess it's only 60 now, but like 20-degree jumps day to day is getting ridiculous.
That's a lot. And then like you get one direction when you're sleeping, and then you wake up, you're either too cold, too hot.
Yeah.
Kind of this morning, it jumped not quite the same. It's 48 degrees here. So, but that jumped from like the low 30s. So it's like, it makes a big change when you got the heat on. I woke up sweating this morning and hungover. Wasn't a pleasant morning for me. Had a few too many last night. Fun times though, but we're here to talk about No House Advantage. Like you guys know out there, they've got multiple contests. You play against the field, you can play against the house. You win a bunch of money either way. You can win up to 20 times your entry fee if you beat the house. You can win up to like 25 grand in their big field tournaments. So there's a lot of ways to attack No House here. We're going to go through these, but Gun, anything off the top? It looks like I was scanning through the injury report. It looks like a bunch of names, either already ruled out, a couple big names, or some big time question marks. We missed on a couple the other day with I think it was like LeBron didn't end up playing. A couple other guys we talked about. I think I went over on everybody that I said I expected to play, but we'll try and hit them this today. Do you have any opinions on who may go, who may not, and what we're looking at as far as impacts to the slate?
Yeah, that LeBron getting rolled out right at the end of our show was fun. Officially, we have Giannis out, Chris Middleton out. We've got Gordon Hayward doubtful. LeBron James is probable, knock on wood, before we get to invest in that. Damian Lillard's questionable. So we've seen historically, if he's out, certainly creates opportunity for Anthony Simons. And then Nurkic has been on a rampage lately. And Jeremy Grant could also stand to benefit there. No other big names. I mean, Al Horford's resting. Sure. Jaylen Brown's questionable. That would be.
Yeah, that was another one that kind of stood out for me.
Yeah, that would be significant. Although, I guess we have alt lines here for, but in my mind, Jason Tatum's usually priced through the roof anyway. But yeah, I think for as far as the big boys, other than Damian Lillard in terms of high usage, and maybe Jaylen Brown, all the other information seems to be pretty settled.
Yeah, the Giannis one is obviously a major piece of news. You mentioned Middleton. It looked like they assigned him to the G League, so we might be getting him back in our lives sometime soon. Get some reps in down there, I guess. But just you look around the board and some of the pieces, and it looks like a lot of the other guys are some of the odds and ends of different rotations and stuff. So teams might be down their seventh, eighth guy off the bench, and have to make some changes that way. But you hit on the major pieces there. So let's talk about some of the opportunities on the board. We'll start out with the overs because we've got a couple meaty overs to talk about today. Right off the top, Drew Holiday on the assists prop. That line is sitting at 5.5 for Drew. I think I would like that in a normal situation. What are we thinking of in terms of this situation tonight as far as a 5.5 assist line on Drew Holiday?
Yeah, without Middleton and Giannis, Drew Holiday benefits the most. He actually has carried this season a 34% usage rate in that split with a 45% assist rate. So there's probably not many Drew Holiday lines set that I wouldn't want to attack with those numbers in mind. Certainly you might wonder who's he going to pass it to, but Bobby Portis, Brook Lopez, still has some competent scorers, and that line is still low no matter what. Like you said, 5.5 is something that on a normal day is probably something we can get behind. I believe average is like 6 something. I haven't had that pulled up, but
normally I have those numbers right in front of me, but I'm just looking now and it looks like I pasted the wrong thing into my spreadsheet because he is not averaging 212 assists per game, as far as I know. That would be pretty impressive. So I'm going to try and fix that in the background here. But yeah, we've got that one sitting 94.2% probable to go over on the board there. The next one on the board is LeBron on the assist line. That one's sitting at just 4.5. I think it's a line we've talked about on the past few times we've done this show as far as LeBron and the assists. Is it really only the, whether he plays or not that would have an impact on this one, or do you not like it quite as much as the 91% we got it at?
I think it's fine no matter what. The probable tag, like I'm pretty sure he's going to play. The other day he had the questionable, which is still, he's been probable essentially all year, but he still is on the injury report. It's a weird thing they do. But yeah, he still has a 30% assist rate when he's on the court without Anthony Davis straight up. He's such a ball dominant performer that I'd be fine with taking just about any alt line on him. We're at 4.5. That's a really low line with that assist rate in mind. And on the season, he's averaging almost 7. By the way, Drew Holiday averaging over 7. So looking really good for the assist here against Dallas. He's going to slow the pace down a little bit. They've still been without their better wing defenders, and we've seen that in their totals in the last 2 weeks or so now in life without Dorian Finney-Smith and Maxi Kleber. So while the matchup still projects, I guess, poor on paper, it's not as bad as the eye test might tell you. So I think this is a really good spot. Lakers implied for 116 points, so hard to not see LeBron reach this over.
Yeah, at least being a pretty significant part of that and facilitating a lot of that offense. So I think that one's got a great shot to get there for us as well, sitting at 91%. That's just basically, we just need him to be on the court. And I think we're pretty much home on that one. The other thing that I did want to bring up about tonight's slate, when we were talking about, just the wrinkles of the slate tonight, that Milwaukee-Miami game is sitting at just 213.5. Versus the rest of this slate that's 220.5 is the next lowest, and then everything else is 226, 235, 232, 233. So there is one outlier low game. Does that have any kind of impact? Like, does that kind of a game trigger for you in your head, like, I'm going to look for this type of prop, whether it's rebounds or something like that? Like, does a low scoring game create an opportunity for certain kinds of props? Does it encourage unders in your mind? Like, what do you look for when you see an outlier game like that?
Usually if I'm looking for unders or something, I want to find a situation where a team or a player is coming off just a beautiful stretch of game, like Hornets, Kings, Spurs. Matter of fact, I think Jimmy Butler, this is kind of funny that you bring this up, because somebody the other day, when Jimmy was without everybody, he was in my chat talking about Jimmy hasn't hit over 45 in the last 10 games. I was like, first of all, his last, he was at Denver, LA, Phoenix. I was like, his last 10 was kind of tougher matchups. And then, of course, the situation that day without Lowry, without Hero, I was just like, you can't do that. But it's kind of like the inverse of what we're talking about for hunting the unders. Guys that are coming off of stretches against super soft matchups might be overpriced just based on recency bias. And then, like you said, in this situation, such a low total. I mean, this is almost old school totals.
Yeah, it really is. This is a total from 10, 15 years ago. Really, at least 5.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely not expecting a an aggressive modern basketball game. We already talked about no Giannis out there. It's going to be a kind of a grindy Miami team anyway. I'm just looking at the board here to see what props are available in this one. We already talked about the Drew Holiday assists. That's our top over at 94.2%. His threes is right there at 88.5% to go over. The line's only 1.5. That one seems to make a lot of sense as well. We could play with Bobby Portis points. Bobby Portis rebounds are both over 75%. So there's some ways to go there on the overs. Do you like either the Drew threes or the Portis raw points or rebounds?
Yeah, Bobby Portis is having a really crazy season. He's actually averaging a double-double. I saw a stat last night. I think StatMuse threw it out there. Bobby Portis I think the stat is he's top 10 in double-doubles and like not even top 100 in minutes played.
Wow.
Let me double check that so I'm not lying.
He's a good player. I mean, I came to appreciate him that brief stint that he had on the Knicks, and then when he went out there, he's a solid player. He can do a lot on the basketball court. So
the stat is he's 4th in double doubles and not even in the top 100 in total minutes played.
That is really, really wild. That's impressive. There's not a lot of guys who can do that.
Yeah,
that kind of production in that short a run. Wow. So do we like him at 9.5 rebounds? That seems like a lofty line. It's up there, but we've got him projected to go over 77% or to go over on the rebounds.
Yeah, I definitely like it. You mentioned that the pace and the total here is not going to give us some warm and fuzzies on guys. We can still isolate and concentrate usage on a few guys. Portis, Brook Lopez, Drew Holiday would be the 3 guys I'm very hyper focused on. And the Heat's been limping into this game as well. This might be one of those 8 active player games for them. So I think we can still get away with it. So yeah, I like that number on Bobby Portis.
Yeah, I think if I were building out a card, there would definitely be, in multiple lineups, there would be versions of each of these different Drew and Bobby Portis picks. I like all of those. So some opportunity there. Most of the other ones are falling into like the mid-range in the 60s, the 50s on the over side. And then we pick back up and head back up toward the 90s if we look over in the the unders column rather. And that's mostly coming from the Miami side if we're just focusing on this game, which I wanted to talk about a little bit. And I think one that's interesting to talk about that we would have probably hit anyway, Victor Oladipo, the under on his PRA. Victor Oladipo PRA set at 30.5. What do you think of that one?
I agree with it. and this is more so because of the total. I am maybe less than warm and fuzzy because of the situation. But I think
based on
yeah,
being short on bodies.
yeah, but it would have to be like crazy for him to get to that line as often as possible, as we mentioned in this total. I think we look at that OKC game, a very similar total for what this game is, and in that game Depot just missed it by 3 or 4 PRA. So that's where the concern is. In that game though, Bam Adebayo was out. Adebayo's in today. That's you normally wouldn't think that's a massive effect, but Adebayo is one of those centers that can set up for his teammates with assist and also score. But yeah, my main concern is the fact that Hero and Kyle Lowry are out, so there is a path to a lot of minutes for Depot here, and we've seen him play 34 minutes in 2 of his last 3 games in over 30 minutes. So this is not minutes limit Oladipo. So no warm and fuzzies.
I was surprised. I watched some of one of the games recently, one of their last 2 or 3 games. I was just surprised just watching him because in my head, he's just like broken down, right? Like he's just not going to be doing all that much out on the court. And he actually looked pretty good. Like he looked like the old athletic Oladipo a little bit. So I was kind of encouraged as far as, just getting to him sometimes, using him sometimes. But this does look like, that 30.5 does look meaty, but given everything you're saying there, maybe we're not as warm and fuzzy on the 91.2% or so. Maybe we knock that down a few pegs, but consider it as a later confidence pick. Let's get away from this game. We'll move on to, let's see, the overs. There's probably a couple overs still. What about James Harden on the assists? We've talked about Harden on his assists before, having a dynamite year, facilitating 44.6% assist rate. The line sitting at 7.5. We've got him projected to go well over. What do you think of that one?
Yeah, I love it for him. And I love in this spot, it's kind of counterintuitive, I guess, to a lot of what we say, because we're always hunting stud without stud. But with Joel Embiid, those are just free assists for him. And we saw in that last game a lot. I have friends in my circle that were sweating Harden over a point prop last game. And when I come back, they're raging that he didn't hit. I was like, what do you mean? He crushed it, because then he had a triple double. Right. But he only had like 16 points in that game in 26 minutes.
He did it all by.
Yeah. But he's had a double in his in his last 3 games, and that's all with assists as a second number. It's just on a different planet right now. And not only is Embiid back helpful to him, but also having Tyrese Maxey back in the blender as well. So lots of potential assists for James Harden, and we should see him live. He's 45% assist rate. I think he's top 2 or top 5 in potential assists per game. This is just a great spot for him. The only hesitance would be the scoreboard, but like I said, it's probably very similar to that Pistons situation where he only played 26 minutes because of the wash and still got there. So I'm heavily in agreement with the over. And I'm also thinking we should hunker down for the next couple of Sixers slates for Harden assist props, because I imagine they're going to keep alt-lining him pretty low, and he's just been killing it.
Yeah. 11 a game. He's playing 36 minutes a night, so the per 36 number is the same. It's just, nothing not to like about that. And to your point, even if they light this team up, you got to figure that he's going to find 9.5 assists or whatever the hell it is. I lost the line on it. 7.5 assists. Yeah. You got to figure he's going to find that on the way, even if he only plays 26, 28 minutes, whatever it is. If they're lighting this team up, it's probably because he's setting up a lot of his teammates for good opportunities, and they're converting on it. So I think since it's assists, not points, I think that one's there, and regardless of situation. What about LaMelo's assists? It's right there, same number, 89.3% to go over, 6.5 line for LaMelo.
Yeah, 6.5, really, really low for him, and we know he could facilitate. I know he's been leaned on a lot more offensively lately, just because his team has been without some of their more prolific scorers and Kelly Oubre and Gordon Hayward. But he's still a guy that can set up shots, and he still has tools to work with Mason Plumlee, with Terry Rozier, guys like that. So I do like it. A lot, lower than the Harden line. We have in a split without Hayward and Oubre, we have a 40% assist rate for LaMelo Ball, a 28% usage. So that's nuts. And that's the type of stuff I'm looking for, 10 and a half, like Chris Paul numbers. So huge opportunity at this number.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just, I mean, like you said, it's just impressive. A guy who can facilitate 8.6 assists per game in his 34 minutes a night, still take 11 threes a game, converting 38% of his threes. Like, he's just having a nice little year here. 28% usage, of 54.3% true shooting, 37.3% on the assists. It's, yeah, nice, solid player. He needs to find his way out of Charlotte. That's it.
Yeah, it's crazy that guy is on the worst team in basketball, essentially.
Yeah, seriously.
Like, he's so good.
Once he gets somewhere and get some good teammates around him, look out. That's going to be interesting to watch. Let's see. Let's take care of some business here real quick. We've got to tell the folks about our pals at No House Advantage. Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell everybody. First off, hit the like and the subscribe button. Second off, if you finish in the top 3 in a contest out there in the world, in the DFS world, with over 5,000 contestants in it, and you have the Stokastic avatar in your little screen thing there on FanDuel, DraftKings, et cetera, send it to us on Twitter at Stokastic HOF, and we'll put you in the Hall of Fame. That gets you a free month of Stokastic Plus Platinum, and we shout you out on the various shows and everything. But we're brought to you by No House Advantage, and we're talking about No House Advantage today. Did you guys know, have you heard on any of our shows, is it processed yet, that there's a $100 deposit match bonus over there? So you're just getting right out of the gate, $300 to go play over at No House. Go create an account over there, drop in some money. They'll match it up to $100 because they're a dynamite partner of ours and they're sponsoring a lot of our shows, and they bumped it up. It used to be $50. Now it's $100. So go over there, get your free $100 matched to your deposit, and start playing some of these contests, because they're great opportunities to win some money. Joker's excited about it. He's barking down under the desk down here. He wants to play on No House. Unfortunately, we live in New Jersey. Let's see. If you're playing on No House, you can play in pick'em contests against the field. You can win up to $25,000 in cash. Those are the contests that have these wide open lines that we talk about. They work like salaries. You've got your value plays. You've got your mid-range guys, your stars, and so on and so forth. You can also play against the house. You can win up to 20 times your entry fee if you hit all your picks against the house. And they're using tighter lines, more, sportsbook-like lines. There are still some that are a little bit meatier than your typical sportsbook lines, though. So you can use our free projections, our free lineup builds over at the site to find all the different picks for your No House Advantage cards. Fill them out. They've got contests for the NFL, NBA. I'm sure there's college football's over now. The World Cup's over now. So I've lost 2 of the things that are written here, but there's NFL, there's NBA, baseball's coming back soon. There's all sorts of contests over at No House. So make sure you're checking that out. Check out our free projections, our free lineup builders over there. There's also overlay all the time in their contests. They do that intentionally. They leave money on the table to incentivize people to go play there. So just go take some of that money off the table and put it in your account. It's an easy approach to making some cash. Gun, what do we like? Let's keep talking overs. Let's talk about a couple 3-pointer props. Tyrese Maxey, you mentioned Maxey being back before, sitting at 1.5 on the threes, just slightly below 80% to go over on the 1.5 threes. We like that one?
On the over? Yeah. Okay. I was like, oh, we're still doing overs. Nice. Yeah. Maxey is certainly somebody that, and it will correlate well with our James Harden props. But yeah, Maxey will pull up from downtown a few times a game. 4, 9, 7, 4, 5 attempts this last couple games. So actually, I'll tell you what, 1.5 doesn't sound as sexy as I was hoping it would. But I did mention, that last game was a blowout. He only contributed 23 minutes in that game, which is a possible range of outcome here. So maybe not as strong as it should be, but I do like targeting 3-point shooters against a team like the Raptors. The Raptors don't necessarily give up a high amount of threes per game, but they do really lock down points in the paint, which is going to be a tall order against Joel Embiid no matter what. But if they do set up traps for Embiid, we've seen them hyper-focus guy defensively.
The Raptors or the Thunder?
Oh, the Thunder. I'm okay. All backwards. Yeah, no, thank you.
I just didn't know if you were talking the right team and just said the wrong one, or you were talking about the wrong team and so.
Yeah, no. The Thunder just suck. So So we just
problem solved.
Why was I was editing Raptors on my spreadsheet?
Dude, it happens.
Yeah,
I do that constantly. I do shit like that. So let's take it this way. If we're we love that Harden assists, and you mentioned how it can potentially correlate with the Maxey one. That one's sitting at 79.6. We both like it to go over on the threes. If I look 2 spots down from there, I've got Joel Embiid on the raw points at 77.2% problem to go over. Do you like the idea of just putting all 3 of those on the same card for some correlated opportunity? Like that seems Harden assists, Maxey on the threes, and then Embiid 26.5 on the raw points.
Yeah, we same game parlaying it. I'm in. I will say I'm probably more confident in Embiid overs than that Maxey line here, but it's still low enough that he should hit. I'm just worried about them not keeping up, and then if we just get hooked, it happens.
Yeah, you drop the whole thing if you get nailed on it. So, all right, just one potential approach to playing that one. Let's look around in the mid 70s on the overs. We've got Christian Wood, 16.5 points. We've got him projected to clear that by a decent margin. It's sitting around 75%. What do we think of Mr. Wood tonight?
I guess the Lakers have been just really, really porous defensively, just about everywhere, especially in the paint. I'm in on it. I think 6.5 is really, really low for the game environment tonight. As long as he doesn't, cross pass with LeBron too much in the foul department. I guess the Clippers just 7 shot attempts and hit 2 of them, but still managed to get to the line 8 times and shot, a perfect 8 for 8. So as long as the shot volume goes back to normal, which the teens double digits in a game environment that looks better than that Clippers game, I think this is a low enough line that I would definitely lean the over and maybe get the play up against LeBron boost that these young kids usually get.
Sure.
Averaging 18 points per game, but a lot of that was off the bench. And then as a starter, looking like anywhere from closer to 20 per game. But there is very, very drastic overs and unders on that median. Yeah. There's a lot of
we've all experienced 30. That Christian Wood just totally disappeared tonight from Christian Wood. So it's, not totally comfy, but I feel like that's also probably why it's sitting down in the the 75% range, 75.9%. So it's one of those ones to drop into the middle of a confidence ranking as you're going down a card, and maybe it's one that other people aren't all that comfy with playing with that recent performance and with just his tendency to sometimes disappear. So maybe it's one you get away with and gain a little upside on game theory. Let's flip it back over to the unders now, because there are some meaty unders that we haven't talked about. So looking down the list here a little bit. Actually, let's start at the top because we didn't talk about the meatiest under. DeAnthony Melton, PRA 18.5, 95.4% to go under by the numbers here.
Yeah, we mentioned a few times already that Tyrese Maxey's back. So just another usage card to add in the mix. Melton unders, especially PRA, something that historically I don't have the warm fuzzies because he is such a stat stuffer. But this is a line that 18.5. Okay.
Yeah. We've got, to fill out the situational information, we've got him projected at 21 minutes. He's averaged 29.8, and that's gotten him to a 19.3 PRA average. So we're only shaving down 8-ish, 9-ish minutes from his minutes projection there. I think that's probably where the 95%, the confidence comes from on that one going under. But it is a line that's set below what he's averaged for the season. So if you had any situational, change, somebody gets a twisted ankle or something like that, and he sees more minutes, I think we lose that one right out of the gate. Because like you're saying, he does fill the stat sheet.
Yeah. And he's been coming off the bench again. I will say to the under's credit, Melton did not touch the court in the fourth quarter in that blowout to the Pistons. And he was on the court after the starters got removed in the third quarter. So it looks like he's the first man of the 6 man off the bench, if that or on the bench, if that makes sense. And then they turned it over to Korkmaz's house, Milton. But he had 17 minutes while the game was a little bit more in hand. So I think we would really, as long as the Thunder do what they're supposed to do and lay down here, and they haven't always just done that. Yeah, I'm not comfortable here. I'll say I lean the under, but 95% is pretty confident. I'm
Yeah, that's it. And I mean, that's the thing with these things. So maybe that one is one we want to consider a little bit more fragile, just based on the potential for just a wild card of minutes allocation here. But based on the way we've got it projected at the site, which 21 minutes, I think that's an accurate coming in on this side of lock estimate, but who knows where we go after that. So yeah, maybe we knock it down a little bit. What about some of these other ones that are looking maybe a little bit more normal, a little bit more real? Jared Allen on the rebounds, 12.5 is the line. We've got him projected to go well under that. What do you think on that one?
Yeah, that's the top underplay here. Does have no, he's probable with an illness. Last game left the court after 7 minutes. We're looking for we're looking for him to continue. I tell you what, Jared Allen definitely known for rebounding, but 12.5 is the line that he hasn't cleared in all but one game since last week of December. So better spot than I guess I thought. I guess it makes sense with sharing the front court with guys like Mobley, and then you rotate in a good rebounder and Kevin Love, stuff like that. So I guess we still take the under. I don't know that I'm like that confident in it, but I would probably be in the 80s. So I'm with the under for sure.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. Like you said, good rebounder, guy who makes his money rebounding, 15.7% on rebounding rate on the season. But they've got that situation you're alluding to with, just a stout front court, to put it, one way, with other guys who can grab those boards. We've got other rebounding props, a lot of unders for the rebounds. Scotty Barnes, OG Anunoby, PJ Washington, all three of those guys, 90+% to go under their lines. Any one of those stand out to you more than others? 9.5 for Barnes, 8.5 for OG, and 6.5 for PJ.
I guess I'll go after the highest number, which is Scotty Barnes. Kind of the same as Jared Allen's in the last 7 games. 9.5 certainly been a spot where he's cleared the under in each game. This is a run back of the very last game that they played, and he offered 31 minutes and just 5 boards in that game. So probably that's the one that stands out. It's more of just attacking the highest number in this situation. Raptors are usually uncomfortable to attack because of how many minutes they play, but Scotty Barnes has been probably their least productive guy, like from a stat standpoint. Yeah. Maybe not so much for real life. And I've been seeing film like teams are just treating him like Ben Simmons on the wing right now, where if he has the ball, they're not even guarding him. So, right. I would go after the Barnes under out of that group of selections.
Yeah, I think that one makes some sense. And then looks like Pascal Siakam is also on that list as far as a rebounds under. He's at 11.5, 90%. There's a lot of high probability unders on the board today, going up through the 80s and into the 90s with a handful. And it's a lot of different names. Like usually we'll see a stack of the same name because it's a situational thing. So you get 4 of the guys' same props. And today it's not really like that. So there's a lot to choose from. So gang out there, it's coming up to 4:00 already. We're hitting the end of the show here. Yeah, that flew by. I was going to ask you another 2 or 3 props here. Any that you want to call out for the end of the show before we jump off? Any that were like sticking out to you or that you talked about earlier in the day?
No, I was trying to look at some of these Lakers. Like I see Dennis Schroeder's listed at 26.5 PRA, maybe with LeBron back in the mix, and considering the matchup, maybe that's another solid under, and we're at 82%. So I don't mind looking at stuff like that.
Yeah, that one sticks out. 26.5 seems pretty meaty for a guy like Schroeder, and he's averaging 18.7 in 29 minutes for the season. We do have him projected to play 36, but still to fall, 5 PRA short of that line. So yeah, mid 80s probability there, pretty strong. I guess that's gonna wrap us up though. So gonna tell the people where they can find you.
Twitter and YouTube /Gundacker.
There you go. And you guys can, after you find Gun, you can find free projections, free lineup builds for No House Advantage over at Stokastic. Make sure you're taking advantage, damn it, of the $100 deposit match bonus. I swear that's not a bit. I just keep doing that. So make sure you're going over to No House and getting your $100 deposit match bonus. Play their great contests. Great sponsor of ours and a lot of fun. We've got shows coming up later today, 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock, NBA Deeper Dive with Ryan and Adam. And then 6 to 7:30, we've got the extended live before lock with Josh and Eric. Should be a couple good, fun shows and a lot of moving parts on today's slate. So thanks for tuning in, gang. Hit No House Advantage. I'm Terry. That was Gun. See you later. Good luck tonight.